Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your October 2018 love reading. It's Rena here. Gosh, I mean, even saying the word October as I record this in September, in early September seems like almost hard to believe because I'm just getting used to September, but that's just how life rolls along, isn't it? I'm getting philosophical here, just doing this love reading, and I haven't even started yet. Okay, I'm just collecting these so I can... Okay. Ooh la la. So, okay. Okay. So the two. Let me see if I don't know why I think it's uneven, but I do. The two major arcana cards I have in this reading are the Justice card and the Lover's card. My mind naturally goes to this place of ending something, because we have two tens in this reading, but maybe a new love situation. However, we'll see. I mean, this is the heart of the matter, the Ten of Pentacles. Perhaps this is a Capricorn individual that you've been with. The Ten of Pentacles in and of itself stands for affluence, prosperity, family, money, inheritance. But to me, it can, if you're like in a divorce proceeding, this can be splitting up your assets as part of a family that you have formed, and maybe even, you know, talking about the kids and who's going to have the child support and things like that, that's playing into it. Now, it's very interesting, these three cards. This is kind of like this middle column is the heart of the reading, because we have as a challenge the Ten of Swords. So the number 10 is the end of a cycle, and the Ten of Swords is a card of being stabbed in the back, metaphorically, of course, and that sense of betrayal that comes from feeling that feeling. And because I have a Libra connection there, maybe it is with one of the swords. The swords are Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, your opposite sign. Is one of those signs, did they do you in like that? Did they do you bad like that? Not sure. But the point is that it's like having enough. It's like hitting bottom, having enough of that situation. So when I see the Ten of Pentacles, I either think that you're sorting out the financial end of things in a court of law, Justice card, or that is simply the person that you have been with. I would say that that person, that is more likely related, if it's not a financial issue in a court battle, that it is dealing with something along the lines of describing the person that you are getting over. Because we have here at the base of the reading, we have the King of Wands. So whether this is you kind of having the backbone to go your own way, because the wands represent fire energy, and the king represents that sense of empowerment. You know, it's a very powerful position. Or just simply showing that this is a person in your life now. Maybe you were with an earth sign and now you're with a fire sign. And fire energy is much more compatible, just in general, with a Sagittarius. fellow fire sign. I'm not sure if that card connects to a particular fire sign. I would say Leo, but obviously it could be another Sag or an Aries person. And this person may be somebody that you just feel you're more on the same page with. Again, though, I feel like something happened that maybe you didn't expect, and maybe there's a disappointment in love because of that feeling of betrayal. And the higher message, the spiritual message, is the Page of Cups, which is connected to maybe having gullibility, but being too trusting of someone, believing what they say. Maybe they were lying and you looked the other way, or simply believed them. Sometimes, I remember one time, because I'm a Sun in Sagittarius, and I remember someone who was a friend, haha, no, I'm just kidding, who said something like, "You're so gullible." And I always remembered that, because this person was putting me on about something. They were really just like lying about something kind of in a joking way. And I just took it literally and I believed them. And they were like not telling the truth. They were like, "Oh, you're so gullible." And it struck me that, wow, I never thought of myself as gullible. And now I'm like totally suspicious. I mean, I'm joking about it, but I mean, I'm a lot more questioning of people. I think in the past I did take people at face value because I am open. I mean, I tell the truth. So I assume that other people tell the truth. And I think that's where that was coming from. And maybe you're the same way. And you just think, hey, you're a straight shooter and you expect other people, you just assume they are. And when they're not, it can feel like, a real slap in the face. And it can be quite disillusioning. But this person, if this is another person, it kind of like a person comes along, whether or not you're in a romantic relationship with them, you may not even be. It might be a boss even, because the king can indicate somebody who has that authority. But whoever they are and whatever they're about, the bottom line is that they are showing you that there are people out there who you may just have better conversations with. You may have more in common with this person. And it feels like they are more compatible with you overall. And that feels good because everyone knows that it certainly isn't easy to live with somebody that you simply don't have that kind of affinity for one another. And the same thing may go for them. It may be that they don't feel that that you're compatible with them. So it can be a two-way street, obviously. But the other thing about this is, I think that we have to get back to the fact that you feel that you were betrayed by this person. And it could be like, even like with finances for some reason. Maybe they received money from an inheritance and they did not include you in on it for some reason. I mean, I don't know how that would work, but if you are, let's say you're married to the person or living with them, maybe they received the inheritance and didn't tell you about it. And that's just one of the things that they've been keeping from you, keeping secrets or something. I don't know, but I feel like it has something to do with a betrayal. So if it's infidelity, that could certainly be the case too. And the kind of the practical goings on connect to the Justice card. So again, I had already hinted at maybe some kind of a legal case, if it's a divorce case. This could be a Libra person who's now in the picture, and that's a more compatible sign for you. It could be this quest for fairness. This is kind of the advice. So it's like asking you to look for relationships that are more of an even exchange. That seems to be a theme that I've been seeing in some of the readings. This is the 4th reading I've done today. And it seems that this idea of what you give to another person, do you feel that you're getting back? And a lot of people, unfortunately, take that to mean financial fairness. And I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the love that you give to a person. Do you feel like they have that same regard towards you? Because it seems like what happens is that one person is really into that other person, and then the other person isn't as into them, and that causes the first person to get insecure, even more insecure than they already are, and then they double down and they try to make it work even more. And meanwhile, there's that gap between the two people. As a matter of fact, this card was coming in. This represents what I'm talking about, because this is about working very hard at your craft, and usually we associate it with the workplace or your profession. This is the apprentice card if you're like training for like a new kind of a job or something like that. Now, but when it's a relationship, I think of somebody who's trying to work on their marriage, for instance. And it's not uncommon for one person to really want to work on the marriage and the other person doesn't, because the other person is not that invested in the relationship in the first place. And as a result, what ends up happening is that you have only one person who is trying to make the marriage work. And it doesn't have to be a legal marriage. It can be a live-in relationship or just a monogamous relationship, or that you think is monogamous anyway, that's supposed to be monogamous. And so that could be one way that you decide to take this, is that you are working on a relationship, even though it's troubled. You may decide that you are going to work on it. Another possibility is that you are throwing yourself into your work now. That you are someone who feels that sense of like, that's over with and now it's time to move on with my life. This could be a facet of you, as I believe I stated, where you feel more of a confidence. Perhaps you are in a very good place professionally, and you, even though something is ending for you romantically, you still feel like you have a lot of potential in your life. And the outcome here is the Lover's card. And this is a card of intimacy, of connecting with somebody deeply. This is connected to the sign of Gemini. So, but it can indicate a choice. So if you are currently in a relationship with somebody and it's supposed to be a serious commitment, but it's troubled, you may be deciding whether or not to invest any more energy or just to leave it. Or again, you may have met somebody new, either a fellow fire sign or maybe a Libra individual, and you have to decide between your current partner, who may have already betrayed you, and a new relationship. And I think, you know, and I've been getting this over and over again too. That's another thing. I think that nowadays this scenario is so common because there is this sense of, I think even with whether it's career matters or love relationships, a sense of impermanence, where people are not necessarily locked into anything for any length of time. It almost makes me wonder why people even get married these days, because there's such a high divorce rate. Because the permanence angle doesn't seem to be there. And yet there's a good side to that, because it means that there is this attitude where if it doesn't work out, you're not doomed to live with that person for the rest of your life, that you can, try again and get it right the next time. The Lover's card is about intimacy. It's not just sexual intimacy. And, of course, they're showing, the nude couple. And it sounds like, the lovers. When somebody says, this person is my lover, you usually think of a sex partner, don't you? A fling. I've taken a lover. But it's really about true intimacy. Maybe you were with somebody who made a lot of money, and that was a lure for you. And I would especially think that this would be the case if some of my fellow Sagittarius have a lot of Capricorn in them, either the moon or Venus and Mars, and especially Venus, because Venus in Capricorn can indicate, choosing a partner based on their pedigree or their their wallet, their status in society. And even a Sagittarian, a Sun in Sagittarian, can go that route if they have Venus in Capricorn. So you might have had to find out the hard way that isn't necessarily the right thing to do. That love is love. True love is true love. I've been saying to some of the other signs that we are having a Venus retrograde in the month of October 5th, I believe, and that's going to continue until the 16th of November. And for Sagittarius, this is starting in your 12th house. So this might be a karmic. Maybe it's a twin flame coming back into the picture, or just meeting that twin flame. Maybe this is a twin flame, or a soulmate situation, with the 12th house being like karmic connections and things like that. So and then it goes back into your 11th house in a late degree of Libra. So very interesting, because that house is the house of hopes and wishes. So this may be something that either somebody from your past who you've always wanted to comes back, or just if you've always wanted to have your soulmate, and that's like been your dream, and you finally meet that person. So that would be very cool. So I love how this reading ends, Sag. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you would like a personal reading, the link to my website is below. Have an amazing connection in October. Bye.